It's not too often that an opportunity comes along that puts you in the right place at the right time with the right product. But that's exactly where you find yourself as you discover the power of LifeWave technology and the opportunity it represents for you. Our mission? To share products with the world that enhance the health, wellness, beauty, and longevity of every person we encounter. If that resonates with you, take a moment and imagine. Have you heard about the billions being spent in the race to cash in on the promise of stem cells? We're told the possibilities in the future for improving our health and wellness using stem cell science from Big Pharma are huge. But what if the future was now? What if you could be perfectly positioned to take advantage of the stem cell revolution today? Partnering with an established company with proven technology, using a business distribution system that puts you in the driver's seat now. Too good to be true? Absolutely not.
It's what the world wants. We don't want drugs. We don't want injections. We don't want surgery.
I've never seen anything like this in 21 years of being a doctor, anything coming close to doing what this technology does for people.
This is a pivotal moment in alternative medicine and in the future of technology and healing and helping people.
Stem cells are the future. As a wellness company, we needed to be part of the stem cell revolution. And with X39, that's exactly what's happened.
That's David Schmidt, LifeWave's founder, CEO, and inventor of X39, his latest breakthrough in what is wearable, virtually weightless technology.
I'm now 50 years old and I feel like 30 years.
In 2 days, X39, my knee pain was really gone.
It's a really fun thing to share with people because everybody is amazed by it.
What does X39 do? It harnesses light to elevate a copper peptide proven to activate stem cells.
We're bringing regenerative science to everyone, and we're doing it safely and inexpensively and with extraordinary benefits. So this is why we have such an advantage in the marketplace and what makes our opportunity for our business builders so enormous.
This is cutting-edge science with no competition that's safe, affordable, non-invasive, and drug-free. We have an X39 video that tells you all about the science, so be sure to watch it. But with over 80 clinical studies behind it and multiple worldwide patents protecting it, the science is settled.
It's a game changer.
There is absolutely no competition.
You're not going to be able to find this in any other different company.
So where do you come in? Our distribution model is network marketing, an industry that approaches $200 billion a year in sales worldwide. People telling people about products and building teams of team builders that accelerate that word of mouth. It's big business, and LifeWave is growing fast within it.
It's very unusual that you would have cutting-edge science make its way into network marketing. But as it turns out, because our products produce immediate effects, immediate benefits, sharing the product face-to-face makes it the ideal way to share the technology.
The only thing you have to do is go out and share it with people. That's it.
You don't have to be a medical doctor like me. Everybody can do this.
You try the patch and you love it.
The reaction that people give us is like, wow.
With warehouses now in multiple countries and the capability to manufacture millions of units per month already in place, LifeWave is ready for you. Just think about who you know and all the people they know that would like more energy without the buzz, to reduce or eliminate pain, to sleep better, all without drugs, to look and feel younger without risky procedures. The list of benefits using our products is long. The market's vast. Are you starting to get the idea here? You're on the threshold of something significant. I mean, think about it. This is an opportunity with global reach where there's help and support alongside you every step of the way, and it's all fueled by a science that has no competition. As a member, you have an incredible array of marketing support, training, and business services that allow you to focus on what's important, spreading the word about LifeWave and helping us expand.
The growth in the future is going to be fast because of X39.
Once you learn about the X39 and you see what it's doing for people, for me, I feel like it's an obligation to share it.
Today, more and more people are really looking for solutions for a better lifestyle.
Everybody wants to look younger, everybody needs more sleep, wants to have more energy, wants to get rid of pain.
And LifeWave is fun because you're making a difference in people's lives. It's not a little difference, it's a big difference.
LifeWave gave my children their mother back.
When you're able to move someone's health as much as we can with LifeWave, see what change that make into people's life, that's amazing. It is. You can literally change someone's life. And I love that.
So there you have it. Look, whatever you want, however high your goals, however big your dreams, it's all possible with LifeWave. So be sure to get back to the person who suggested you watch this video and get started today. Try X39 or one of our other fantastic products so you can learn for yourself what all the excitement is about when it comes to LifeWave. Whatever you do though, be sure to get started today because the clock is ticking. The time is now. You don't want to miss out. We're building LifeWave to $1 billion company. Let's do it together.
It's a great video showing you the excitement about this company. And just two little things I want to talk about. What David said, he said, it is very unusual to see this type of business in the network marketing. And two reasons why, well, actually three. He says immediate benefits, immediate effects, and you get to share it face to face. And that is why we are using this technology and moving it and sharing it with the rest of the world through network marketing. I'm so glad that he did that because otherwise we wouldn't be here to be able to share this technology because it would be put in the shelf and some kind of Amazon or eBay or wherever else that people would want to pick this technology. And to think about it would be very difficult because in those big box stores like Kmart or Walmart, you're going to pick a sleeve and do what? Who's going to tell you? Who's going to share with you different ways of putting or places where you can use this technology? But think about that as I finish with my presentation. And then last thing that you heard the lady Christina said, you can literally change people's lives. And I know you can do that. And it's done it through our lives and the lives of those people around us. So let's talk about the three ways of getting in, actually the four ways of getting into the business. And why we do this is to share with you how this company can meet you where you are financially. There's no other company in the world that does that. You know, we'll talk a little bit about different ways of diversifying your income. But here, let's talk about the starter, the initiator that David likes to call it, right? David Allen, $25 to get into the business, to get a spot in the business, to be able to buy products at wholesale. Of course, you get no patches, but you're just buying a yearly annual fee to get into the business and be able to move the products throughout the world. The second one is core, and which we like to call it the good, the better, and the best. And that costs $295. But what you get here is LifeWave waives the $25 fee because you're actually buying the technology. Okay, the value is $450. And what does that mean? It means what you would normally pay as a retail if you were to purchase the products. So what this includes either 3 X39s or 3 X49s or 6 of the classic patches. The classic patches is the one that Vicky was talking about, which are, you know, the Eon and glutathione, carnosine, the energy enhancer. All of those are our primary patches. So you can buy 6 of those with the core enrollment. The next enrollment is the advance. The advance is $535. And what does that get you? About $900 worth of value. And the equivalent of is 6 X39 or 6 X49s or 12 of the classics patches. And you can buy them at a wholesale pricing. And the premium, which is your last one, which we call it the best, is $1,750. You may say, well, that's a lot of money. And it is for some people. But if you're looking at it as a business owner, which I am, this was nothing compared to what I thought in a business like this will cost. As a jewelry designer, if I don't have diamonds or gold to be able to sell to my clients, I don't have a business. And so what we do is we always have enough products to be able to service 2 or 3 people at any given time because we see the value of it. And of course, my wife and I, we use the technology all the time. And so we love it. So we're a product of our own product. Now, with any of this enrollment kits, you can mix match them. You can customize them. You don't have to get exactly all of the 20 X39s or X49s. You can mix, you can say 10 of these and you get 20 of the other ones, right? Because it's 2 to 1. And that's how the patches are sold to us. So what I'm going to move now is I'm going to move to the compensation plan. And what the way that I like to explain it, I love cars, and I don't know if you know anything about me, but I love all types of cars. I like old cars. I like exports. I like all kind of cars, and I love the technology behind them. So the way that I'm going to equate this to is having different engines. You may say, wait a minute, Esther, you only have one engine in one car. Well, it's different now. You can have multiple engines. You can have an engine just to operate one wheel. And this is how LifeWave works with different engines to be able to pay us very handsomely on this compensation plan. We have a retail profit. We have something that it's called PIB, or product introduction bonus. The binary commission is the third way of receiving money, and the binary matching bonus is the next one. And of course, all this different engines are independent, yet they coalesce with one another. And I'll share with you a little bit later on the slides how they coalesce. And the last one is a senior global leadership pool bonus. Okay, this is bonuses paid for those very high end or high up ranks in the business. And I'll share with you also how that works. So here I'm going to, I love this slide that David created for us. And what it shows here is a different ways of diversifying your income, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And this is really important because I want to show you what are the options out there. Do you get into selling real estate, right? The training and the material, the membership fees all have a lot of costs on it, anywhere from $500 to $1,000, depending on where market you're in. Vicky and I would love to watch shows that sell real estate all around the world. If you're going to go sell real estate in Dubai, it's going to be different than selling real estate here in Essex, Maryland, for instance. So anyhow, the cost is it's there. There's no refunds on any of the investments that you make. You can also be a Uber driver or an Instacart driver. And what do you need there? You need a car, whether you're buying or leasing it. You need to maintain your car. You need to pay insurance and buy a lot of gas for you. So the more trips that you have, the more gas, of course, more money you make, but the more gas you spend, right? Anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000, depend the car that you drive and the expenses that you have. No refund on your depreciation of your car, and whether it's that you're buying or leasing it. Now, you can rent, you can own apartments or Airbnb places all over the world, and you can make a good income on that. But what comes with that is the expense. And look at this, $300,000 and up. That's how much you're going to pay now. How many of us have that type of money laying around? Some of you do, and it's great. Congratulations. But not everybody does. And this is, I want you to open your mind to see that what everybody's out there doing. You may say, well, I wasn't born into that incredible, wealthy type of family. But you can get there if you have a vehicle. And this is a vehicle I want to show you tonight. You can also have a franchise. Who knows the Burger Kings and McDonald's and the Subways out there? And there's licensing fees that you had to pay for them. You had to buy a location or you rent a location. You have a lot of city licensing. That could cost you anywhere from $100,000 up to $1 million and even more. And there's, of course, no refund on your investment. But let's look at over here with LifeWave and being a brand partner. That's what we're called. The startup kit, anywhere from $25. And you say, well, where do you get that? I'm glad you asked. Right here. $25. up to $1,750. Those are your costs. And there's a 30-day money back guarantee. When I saw that, it blew my mind, because this is how sure LifeWave is about our technology and how they work. And you saw those testimonials. The picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And I can say all that we can say about our technology and the compensation plan, but if you don't try it, you will stay where you are. And if you're comfortable with your financial situation, fine. But if you're not, and then you're looking for what we like to call nowadays a gig income, or a way of making money, this is what I'm showing you today. Now, I'm going to explain to you those different engines. And the first one that we're going to talk about is the retail bonus. Okay. What does that mean? When you buy a product, let's say you buy an X39, it costs $99.95. You sell it for $150 plus your shipping and handling. Make sure you cover that, because we pay that up front, and you can make money that way. And also, you can make every month, when you have preferred customers and different ways of bringing people, you can make money that way as well. You can make money through the retail profits, right? And there's also something that's called volume that you can make with our products. Now, the second engine is a product introduction bonus, what we like to call PIB. And I like to define it, because some people might say PIB or senior SPD, and like, what is all those acronyms? What does all that means? So I like to define it to show you what it means. Now, as a product introduction bonus, I want you to look at this number right here, $35. When you bring somebody in, you get to make $35. And of course, we have bonuses all throughout the year. Right now, we're working on the bonuses. If you bring in an advance or a premium, you get to make a little bit more money than you usually make. For instance, when you bring in an advance, you get to make $75 regularly, but during this week, you make $150 total. You say, where does that come from? It's not here. Well, it's a bonus that the company likes to give to get everybody started again, during this is the beginning of the year, to get things moving in your business. And the last one, of course, is the premium, the PIB on the premium. When you bring yourself somebody in, now, if somebody else in your upline brings a person in, you don't get that PIB. But you say, well, it's not fair. Well, it is, because you didn't work on getting them. Today I got the privilege of Mary telling us that she brought some people into business, and she's so excited. We're excited about it too. Now, the company is not giving me that PIB because I didn't bring them in. The company's going to give Mary the PIB for it. And that's wonderful, because she did all the work, and that's how it works. So we're working together. And later on, I'm going to show you all the different social medias where you can meet us and you can look for us. As the business gets bigger and our network gets bigger and bigger, we can't chase everybody and look for you. We ask you that you look for us, because we're here. Just like this meeting, we do this meeting every week. And of course, we have different faces and different personalities doing this call with us, so that we can enjoy and bring other people into the business, and they get to see what it is that we're doing. Okay. Now, there's also volume, and I want you to see this volume, because we're going to see that again in a couple of slides. You get 180 BV when you bring somebody in as a core. You get 300 BV when you bring somebody in as an advance, and you get 745 BV when you bring in somebody as a premium. Now, of course, as a premium, it says here there's trickle down. You get 525 and then 100 BV each month after 2-3 months that you've been in the business, right? So every sleeve has a point number attached to it. For instance, at the very bottom, it says X39 and X49, the equivalent of is 77 PV or BV. And every other single supportive, or the primary patch, or the classic patch we like to call, is 55 BV. Now, the cost for them is very high up there. It's not like 20-30%. It's a lot of volume that you're getting on your product. So for instance, if X39 costs us $99.95, and for some instance you can buy it cheaper, you get 77 BV. And the supporting patches They normally cost us $69.95. If you buy two, it's $59.95. If you buy three, it's $49.95. And you get 55 BV. So that almost 100% of volume that you get when you're ordering that product or somebody underneath of you is ordering. You may say, what do you mean somebody underneath of me? I'm going to explain to you in a couple next slides. Now, the third engine, right, where you get to make money is on the binary commission bonuses. And how does that work? When there's active members in the business ordering products, and we normally, to begin the business, the blood of our business is other people. So as other people are using the technology, volume every month, in order to keep the volume that you're generating in your business, you must be active. And what does that mean? You must order a monthly purchase. And you might say, here we go. Now you're talking about filling my garage full of stuff. And no, our garage is full, but it's not full of products. It's full of junk, right? You know, we have this, I'm not going to go there because Vicky and I always talk about that. We got to get a dumpster to dump all the stuff that we bought that is doing nothing in the garage. But anyhow, let's move on. As you come, I want you to look at these three numbers, 330, 660, and 50. Okay, that's the only number that you're going to see. And I know there's other businesses that have all these numbers that you have to memorize in order to make money. Just three numbers, very simple. 330, 660. What numbers are those? That is the BV that it needs to be generated in your business. Now, is that going to work the first week? It might. There are some businesses members that have come in this type of network marketing that are killing it. They're making so much money because, for instance, they might bring their whole network of people, all their influence they may bring into the business, right? And so that volume gets to generated. The binary commissions are determined by the accrual volume of purchases by brand partners beneath your position, not above, but beneath, regardless of who enrolled them. And this is the beauty of it, okay? Along having a website, which is a dedicated, replicated website with your name that you get to pick, you have unlimited depth of volume that is coming into your business, okay? Offering unlimited depth. What does that mean? All the people that are ordering products, let's say I bring somebody in the business and one of my legs, it's the power leg, which we like to call it, and the other one is the pay leg. Once that volume gets to meet those numbers every week, because we get paid weekly, you get a $50 check. You're like, woohoo, where does $50? That is just the beginning. You can make this weekly, you can make this monthly, you can make this hourly, okay? Of course, the volume will accrue and your money will accrue at the end of the week. You get paid all that amount. So for instance, let's say you want to make $500. It's simple. Just multiply that times 10, right? And you get the $500. So you get 6,060 BV on one leg and 3,030 BV on the other leg, and you get to make $500 on just this engine. Not the other engines. The other engines are totally independent. You can sell all the product that you want, and you can make all the money that you want from the profit margins. You can make all the money in here. And of course, there's a cap in here. And I want you to think about this. Why is there a cap? There's a cap of $25,000 a week. That's an equivalent of $1.2 million a year, which is really, really good money. Now, remember, the volume generated through this retail profit and the for customers orders that they make, they're all cyclable. All the volume gets to be added to you, regardless who brings them in. So that is the beauty. Also, LifeWave makes no promises regarding of the income. Why? Because it only success that you have, and the failure, of course, is how much work you put into it. So in this slide right here, we're going to talk about ranks. You may say, well, there's a pat in the back. Yes, there is, but there's money involved in it. And I want you to open your minds to it and see it this way. When you see this enrollment, look vertical, right? I want you to see this way because these are the requirements. These are the requirements for a manager. These are requirements for a director, and so on and so forth, right? So everybody comes in with an enrollment title, and that pays you about $100 a week. okay, depending on the volume. Now, what must you do? You must be active and you must have one person in each leg in order to make that $100 a week. Now, what is that dependent on? It's dependent on this volume. Remember, I told you they're independent, but they coalesce. Now, you get to make $100 when you have what? 1,220 on this leg and you have 660 on this leg. That is equivalent of 2 checks or 2 cycles of $50. Okay. Now, to move on to make more money, who doesn't like to make more money? I know I do, is a manager. The manager cap is at $1,500 a week. Now, I want you to think about this. What are the requirements? You have to have 2 people on each leg, and they both have to be active, right? And you have to have 300 PV on your leg. Now, when this was introduced to us, we were like, what does that $300 mean? It's very simple. Let's look at this. If you come in as an advanced, you have 300 PV. Now, you could easily come in as a core, and then you can upgrade to the advanced. But you don't just upgrade by buying products. You actually have to go to your back office and say you want to upgrade kit. When you upgrade the kit, then you have the 300 BV and you are considered an advance. Okay. So once you're an advance, then you could be a manager and then you can make up to $1,500 a week. Now, are you going to make that every week? If the volume on this engine is equivalent for you to make that $1,500 a week, yes, you can. But volume has to be generated. Is this going to happen the first week or the first month? Maybe not, but it will definitely happen as you increase the network and as people start to come in your business. Now, the next one is $2,500. What are the requirements? You have to have 3 people, but only 2, right? 3 people that you personally sponsor, and you still have to just keep 2 managers, right? And what you do is you have to have 1 manager on each leg. Okay, that's a director. Have 3 people total. 2 of them can be your managers, 1 on your left and 1 on your right. That's why we really look at a manager as the most important rank that you can have. Why? Because it opens the bank. Now watch this. Some of you guys may catch this on your way home. If you have a lot of volume and you're not a manager, meaning you don't have 2 people, let's say you have 100 people on one leg and only 1 person on the other leg, guess what? You're not a manager. You can have millions of BV and you're going to be paid only $100 a week. And you say, well, that's not fair. Well, that's why this is a business. You have to treat it as a business. This is not a hobby. If you want hobby money, you're going to get hobby money. But if you want business money, you are going to truly get that business money. And it happens. You may say, well, when is that going to happen? When it starts happening on you and you start getting money and start getting paid, you're going to be like, what is going on here? I had to pay attention. And we saw this after being in the business for 3.5, almost 4 years now. We saw this happening within a year and we started making money. Our primary income now is LifeWave. And I love making jewelry. I love servicing my customers and treating my customers with the utmost respect and the beauty that is designing jewelry. But now we can help people physically, spiritually, financially. We can do everything for them by using this technology. And of course, my family, my children are learning the trade and they're going to take off with that while Vicky and I are going to travel the world. As a matter of fact, in 2 weeks, we're going to go to Punta Mita, and we're so excited about that. That LifeWave is going to treat us both to an incredible little vacation that we can't wait to go. So next is, let me get moving here, Senior Director. Now this is when everything changes, okay? Now what does that mean? It changes because you keep to have your requirements. The requirements don't change. The only requirement that changes is BV. And this is the volume that is generating throughout your whole network. But you still need to have 2 directors, right? And you need to have 2 managers, I'm sorry. You need to have a director on each leg, but you can have 2 directors on one leg. For instance, for me, as for example, my mom and my wife are in my right leg and they're my directors. Of course, I have other directors on the other leg, but in the beginning, that's how it was. And so the company doesn't want to make it so difficult for you to make money. They want you to make money, and they encourage us to make money. And that's why those ranks, and we get awards during our convention and our conferences every year. And so let's move on. The BV has to change on your group, and this is counted monthly. Now, executive director pays $7,500, and presidential director pays $1,250. Senior presidential director, $25,000 a week. That's the cap that I was telling you about. Now, of course, the volume gets to be generated differently. We are right here. In 3.5 years, actually less than 3 years, we made it into presidential director. And our volume that generates in our network is 100,000 BV every month. That is a lot of money that is rolling through our network. And the company sees the effort that we're doing so that they give us the money, and they bless us with that compensation, because it's our hard work that we're doing that we're generating volume and a lot of sales to the business. Now, they don't pay advertising. They don't pay millions of dollars on that. They pay us. So we keep the money that would be set aside for advertising. And senior presidential director is 200,000 BV, which is a rank that you all want to get to. Why is that? Remember, these are not just ranks that are getting pat in the back. These are ranks that open up the world of experience for you. For instance, a senior presidential director, the company rolls the red carpet. They pay for your trip. They pay for your lodging when you go to conventions and different trips. They pay for everything because they want us all to be senior presidential directors. Now, of course, not everybody in the business is senior presidential director because not everybody wants to be there. But I know that if you enjoy our company and the things that we're doing together, the community that we're gathering together, because you know what? There are people that rather buy the products from an unknown source, but they're like an island all by themselves. They don't know how to patch. They don't know how to meet together. There are people that want to come in our network, and they're clamoring to come into us. But of course, if they're already in another network, they can't jump ship and come to us because there's rules and requirements that have been attached to that. They want to come in because they know that we can get the answer. It's funny because like when somebody calls and somebody texts us or gives us a message on WhatsApp, it's Vicky and I were like, who's going to be the quickest, right? Because she's a pathologist. She answers everything about the patches. Of course, I'll answer things about the compensation plan. And we love doing that. We love to work together. The last one, the last engines that I want to talk about is unlimited matching bonuses. And how does that work? This is really, really cool. And there's no cap on that, right? As a paid manager or above, you can qualify and earn 20 to 25% matching weekly binary commission on the people that you personally sponsor. Okay, so let's say I sponsor one person. The first person that I sponsor, I make 25% of their cyclable income. What do you mean? When they're making money here in the cycle bonuses, and let's say the person makes $50, guess what? I make $12.50 when it comes to this because that's 25%. And the company gives us it. They don't take it away from the person that I brought it. The company pays us these bonuses. The second level, and you say, wait a minute, is this a multi-level marketing? It's not. We're network marketing. We affiliate ourselves with something that is called binary, and that's how we get paid. On the second level of the people that the first person brought, we get to make 20%. And the third level is the person that they brought, you make 20% also on that. Of course, there are some requirements to meet. I'm moving quick because we're almost finished. Our time is up. Senior Leadership Global Bonus. How does that work? It works when you become part of the higher ranking Senior Presidential Director or Elite Presidential Directors, and you get quarter bonuses on the extra money that has been brought to the business. Why do I say extra money? We are designed to be able to pay us 60% of the profit margins that come to the business have to be paid out to the network. 40% gets to stay with a company. What other company in the world does that? There's nobody out there. Even myself in my business, I don't pay my employees 60% of their income. I don't. Of course, there's a lot of PR and a lot of things to be generated, but the company pays that well. And this is where that bonus comes in. So there's nothing goes back, no more than 40% goes back into the business. That is really, really incredible. Now, the match and bonus example over here, kind of like just to give you a quick illustration of it, generation one could be an equivalent of $3,000. Let's say the first person that you brought in is making $3,000, 25% of it is $750. Some serious money that you can make, and there's actually no cap whatsoever. The second generation is a person that brought, let's say John is the first person that you brought in. John brought Susie. Okay, so Susie is the person that John sponsored, but you do not even know Susie, right? But you're still going to make 20% on the cyclable money that Susie makes. For instance, there was $1,000, 20% of that is $200. And now John brought Susie, and Susie brought somebody named Mike. Okay, I'm just making his names up. Mike is the third level. John might not even know the person Mike that's over here. Nonetheless, he still gets to make profit on the third generation. You're over here, and you still get to make profit on the third generation. You say, well, why doesn't it continue? It does. Now watch this. It's really cool because you can have 1,000 people that are in your first generation. And guess what? You might have 2,000 people on your second generation, and you're going to have 10,000 people in your third generation. And that's how you get to make a lot of money. Of course, there are some requirements, but for the binary match and bonus example, you can make up to $1,950 on just this example alone, not the other engines that I've showed you, because this is totally independent. Now I'm done. I'm going to show you some pictures of wonderful meetings that we had, our conferences and our conventions that we have every year. We're traveling the world. This was in Florida the first time that we went. This one here was also in Florida. It was called Shine, and more people started coming in. We wear t-shirts, and everybody. I had a guy that wants to pay me. He wanted to pay me $100 for this orange t-shirt. I'm like, no, man, I don't have any more. I'd love to give it to you, but I didn't have any more because we bought it for the certain number of people that we have, and we really love each other and learn to learn our own family. The community is tight knit. This is called Heart to Heart Convention in 2023, and last year we went to beautiful Texas. Love that Roadhouse burger that we bought with Vicky there and a couple other people. Take a snapshot of this, a screenshot of all the different ways that you can find us in Facebook, Instagram, Telegram. We have a great YouTube channel, WhatsApp, and also in Zoom. So this let's get ready to start. If you're still thinking about what it is that you want to come in, your dreams can become a reality with this technology. You can spend more time with your grandchildren or your children. If you're a young couple, you can experience the world. Last year, or actually last summer, we went to the Greek Isles, and we love traveling. At least I love traveling. Vicky, she'll get used to traveling, right? You can spend more time with your family, or dance in the beach, dance wherever you want to dance, because you're dancing because your heart rejoices, because there's no more trouble of financial problems. Now,
you are a powerhouse of growth, of new experiences. You just don't know it yet. Let's change that, shall we? With innovation at our core, we've reimagined what's possible. Harnessing the body's natural energy flow with light. Backed by clinical research, X39 stimulates the skin with low levels of light to elevate a key peptide linked to renovating and rejuvenating the body. This life technology supports improved movement, recovery, and overall health and well-being. You are Generation Awesome. Shifting paradigms and creating new ones. We always knew you had it in you. Now it's time to prove it to yourself. Your adventures are only beginning. Discover the power and simplicity of doing more with X39. Be the light. LifeWave.